It's been a little bit. I think the audio is working here. Should be. It has been a little bit since I've done one of these live shows. I think definitely in 2024, right? It was like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. Then started December or something like that, and now we're in February already. Pretty crazy, but anyway. So forgive me here for the start here. It looks like we're all good. I'm gonna take a few minutes, like at the beginning, just I'll keep checking this because you never know. And like I said, it's been a little bit, so I kind of almost forgot how to go live. So at the beginning, it might be a little choppy there, but. Anyways, hopefully on rewatch it's not too bad. But yeah, no, it looks like we're live. Looks like the audio is all working with that. Okay, so yeah. All right. So for this episode of Let's Talk Television, and like I said, it has been a couple months, right? And so the last episode, I think I was doing the problem with modern TV shows, right? So for that topic, it was kind of a specific one where I wanted to dive into a few things and had like a series of notes that I wanted to hit on and that stuff. But this one is actually going to serve as kind of just a way of me to do my award show, basically, right? So the award show I've been doing on the channel, I think I missed last year's. I still did my awards and everything, and I actually think I was editing the video for it, and then something corrupted, and then I just kind of gave up at that point, because I was already a couple months late on when I wanted to get it up. It was like March now or something, and I was like, all right, whatever. Like, and it takes a lot of work to put it, or at least for me, like it's a lot of work for me to put into it. And so anyway, so I didn't do it last year, but every other year I think that I've had the channel almost, like even 2018, I think I did one. So yeah, so I've been doing this for a long time here on the channel, every year almost. And so yeah, I thought it'd just be a fun way to do this live. So basically what I've gone ahead and done is I have actually picked all of my nominations, right, for the awards. And usually if I just did this as a regular video, I would have my nominees and winners, right? And I would just kind of present it as an award show. But in this, I thought it'd be actually kind of fun because I could do it live. And then, yeah, I have my nominations, but I actually haven't selected my winners yet for the awards. And so I thought, yeah, I could just do it live during the stream with you guys watching and pick my winners as we go along for these nominees. So hopefully it's not going to be like too difficult of a decision because I haven't even really like thought about the winners yet. So it should be fun to go through. And obviously, I'd love to hear from you guys, what you thought of 2024 in TV. I'll start here by just briefly discussing what I thought of it, and then we'll get into the awards. But yeah, what did you guys think of it? And if you wanted to do an award show, even if you don't have a channel or something like this, or you didn't put anything together, what would it look like for you? What are some of your favorite shows of the year? Some of maybe your worst. You want to do something like a Razzies? I'm not going to be doing that, but something like a Razzies for your worst shows and all that stuff. And actors, right? So we're taking a look at a lot of acting for these awards. So what were some of your favorite performances? Anything like that. Love to hear from you guys for sure. So yeah, so that's about it. So that's what we'll do for this episode, Let's Talk Television. Hopefully, I started this as like a weekly show, and then I did a couple weeks there and then fell off, but hopefully weekly, or at least bi-weekly, maybe every other week, I'll do an episode of this. And but anyway, so for the other episodes of the Let's Talk Television series here, so I'm just gonna check one more time on everything. Looks like we're okay so far. I think so. Yep, I think everything's looking good. The audio's all good. Okay. All right, let's continue. So, anyway, so yeah, so for these other Let's Talk Television episodes, what I've been doing is I'll just start off with talking about This Week in TV, I like to call it. So basically just the shows that I've been watching, the last week or, since the last episode of Let's Talk Television. So we'll do that. And then, like I've been building it up, we'll get to my award show and we'll go through that and pick my winners. And then I'll end off with some news topics. There was a lot of news. Obviously, it's been a long time since I've done an episode, and there's been lots of news in that time. But I picked a few articles and a few stories here just from the last week and a half. And so, we'll dive into those at the end for sure. and talk about those. So anyway, so let's start off then, just before we get into the awards show, let's start off with This Week in TV. So I have two new shows that I watched in the past week or two, basically. And then I have some other ones, which I'll just kind of briefly touch on. But mainly, the first one is Severance Season 2 on Apple TV+. So I did mention, I think in my most anticipated video, which is the most recent video I've done on the channel now, in that video, I did reference that I was watching, Severance Season 1. I think I watched, I believe, to episode 7, a little bit ago. And then I just kind of have been saving because I've heard it ends on a wild cliffhanger. And, people have been waiting like literally 3 years since the cliffhanger. And so I thought, well, to hell with it, right? Like, I'll just wait to watch that cliffhanger finale of season 1, right, and then I can go right into season 2. And so it's essentially what I ended up doing. I think it was like a night or two in between season 1 and then the premiere of season 2. But anyways, so I did watch through season 1, just briefly. I don't know. I do really appreciate the show. I do really enjoy it. But I don't think it's quite on the level that some people built it up to, or even maybe still are building it up to. I don't know. It took me a while. It took me basically until episode 7 of season 1 to really get into it and really feel like, oh, like this is now kind of getting close to what everyone was talking about when they said, some people have been calling this a masterpiece, a masterclass of a season of television, season 1. And I don't know. It took me at least until episode 7 to get to that point. Where I, thought it was close to that level. To me, the first little bit of the season, I don't know. It just seemed to, especially the first couple episodes. I think I originally watched those at least a year ago now. I watched the first 2 episodes and then kind of fell off, and then now, obviously, with it coming back, I went back, watched those first 2, and then the rest of the season 1. So I don't know. I just thought the first 2 episodes weren't anything too special. I thought especially, like, it was just dreadful. Like, it just seemed like so kind of like torturous to watch the show. Like, it was just so sad to see, Adam Scott's character, Mark, right, in this situation, being so depressed. And again, that's credit to the show, right, for depicting that and giving us that feeling and that sense of dread. So kudos to them. But that's just how I felt, after the first couple episodes. So anyways, having said that, the ending of season 1 is absolutely insane. That finale episode is just, that is, to me, one of the, biggest payoff episodes of TV. Maybe, in recent memory that I've seen, at least. Probably not in, history, but in recent memory, that is just insane. Like, from the first frame of the episode till the end, it is just balls to the wall, like, full-on payoff after payoff, like, just revealing this twist and paying that off and giving us answers to this question. And so it's just everything. Now, I will say, it made for an amazing episode of TV, an amazing finale. But could you not have revealed a few more things along the way? And maybe, that episode didn't then have to feel such like a payoff dump, basically, at the end of the season. That was just my thing. Again, I didn't really catch on till episode 7. So for me, it was like, okay, well, in those first 7 episodes, I wouldn't have minded if you gave us a little more. And I felt like it kind of meandered a little bit at times. And some plot points and stuff they went into just never really seemed to go anywhere at the end of the season. So some things were just kind of abandoned. But anyway, so that's how I felt about season 1. Crazy finale. So then a couple nights later, I watched the season 2 premiere. And one thing I will say just first about these first few episodes of season 2. Apple TV Plus, just makes absolutely no sense to me. Because virtually every other show on their platform, especially within the last year or 2 that I've been watching a lot of the shows on Apple, they always do 2-episode premieres for their shows. Like, always. Sugar, Bad Monkey last year, what else? I'm not sure if Franklin did, but the Your Friends and Neighbors, the new John Hamm show coming out, they're doing 2 episodes for that. The Dope Thief show they're doing. So anyways, almost virtually every Apple TV Plus show has been doing 2-episode release for their season. So basically you get episode 1 and 2 on the same night for the premiere. And the first 2 episodes of season 2 of Severance are like the perfect combination of an episode of 2 episodes back to back that you would want to watch at the same time as part of a premiere, and yet they decided not to do that and release them each, in their own week of release. So that makes no sense to me, because then we had to wait a week to then see basically the other side of the events that happened in the first episode. So I just am dumbfounded why they would do that. But anyways, I guess they wanted basically another week of conversation, to have it on the platform. So it's whatever. But yeah, so I thought these first 2 episodes were pretty good. Again, after even the season 1 finale, I did think to myself, I'm like, this could have just ended. Like, do we really need a season 2 after this? But I do like the way that they are picking up, and really getting back into the same stuff almost immediately. And I wasn't sure that they were going to be able to. I just didn't see a world where we could just come, right back into this and, have them back at Lumen and trying to figure out the same problems and kind of resetting things, right? And they did that really effectively within these first 2 episodes. And I haven't seen, I don't think, the episode 3 that just came out a couple days ago. So only the first 2 I've seen. But they did a really good job of kind of resetting things, and now full steam ahead. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season here. Like I said, I don't quite see the show on that level of some of people do, of calling it a masterpiece or peak TV. But certainly I'm willing to see that for season 2, and I really do have some high hopes. I think there's a lot of potential here. So good start to Severance season 2. That was a lot on Severance, but anyways, we'll have to see. And of course, I'll probably do a review for the whole season once it's done airing here for Severance, for sure. But not weekly episode or weekly reviews for the episodes for now. Okay, so then the other new show I've been checking out the last week or so has been Shifting Gears, season 1, and this is the new sitcom on ABC, actually, which is very strange that this is on ABC. To me, this is like just such a clear Fox show, so Tim Allen is coming back as kind of his sitcom, return to network sitcom, because I think the last one he had was it Last Man Standing, right, is the more recent one, and then Home Improvement, I think, was the original one. And I've seen like some episodes of Last Man Standing, I think where he works at like some sort of outdoors shop or something, right? So I've seen episodes of that show just here and there, when it was on TV. But Home Improvement, I don't think I've seen any of that. So anyway, so this is kind of his return. And Kat Dennings is also in this, obviously from Two Broke Girls. And she's been in quite a few things. And so, yeah, very interesting, right? So just having Tim Allen alone and that kind of background of shows like Last Man Standing, I mean, it just makes sense that this would be on Fox. But somehow it's on ABC, and it's hilarious because ABC has scheduled this show to be the time slot right before Abbott Elementary, which is like their biggest, comedy. Well, it's the biggest on network TV in general. The biggest show right now on, in terms of, the comedy sitcom, network shows. And so they have this one right before it, which is kind of interesting in the stuff that they tackle here, going into a little bit of the political stuff. But anyways, so I thought, I read some people, thoughts on the pilot episode and just trashing this, and I went in fully expecting for, I don't want to say like a dumpster fire, but, I was not expecting a whole lot with this, but I was just like so morbidly curious. And I thought the pilot wasn't all that bad. I will say the second episode, I think I've seen the first 4 episodes now. The second episode is actually quite a bit better than the pilot, and I thought it was like actually a good, like for a network sitcom show, I thought it was like actually a pretty good episode of TV. And I'm not, obviously I'm not a huge sitcom guy in general, and so take it with a grain of salt, but I thought it was actually a good episode. I laughed quite a few times in it, so that has to mean something. And so, yeah, so I thought the pilot a little rocky. Second episode was a lot better. And then episode 3 and 4 have just been kind of okay. But I do think, like, I think this is a little better than what people are making it out to be. I think both the actors who are playing Kat Dennings' kids in the show, basically she is, has this relationship that she ran off when she was like just graduated high school, and she ran off with this guy, and then now they're getting divorced, but they had 2 kids, and so now she brings her 2 kids home to Tim Allen, her dad, and now they have to live together, right? So that's kind of the idea. And then the shifting gears part is the fact that he works in this like car shop, right, fixing up old cars and that. So anyways, so the children actors, child actors who play Kat Dennings' kids, I think are like really good. Like they're not just this like stereotypical, just kind of boring, TV kids that you see in a lot of sitcoms and a lot of shows like this. They are unique and they stand out, and I think they really kind of bring some character to those characters in the show. And I think Kat Dennings and Tim Allen actually work really well. I don't know. I think Tim Allen is still pretty funny in this. Some of the comedic timing, I think he really kind of brings more out of these scripts than what they really should have. So that's my 2 cents. I know some people don't really like Tim Allen at all, so fair enough. But anyways, I think it's worth checking out. If you're going to check it out, I'd suggest watching the first 2 episodes, though, just so you can see probably the best it has to offer with that second episode. But anyways, so I don't know if I'll keep watching it, maybe another episode or 2, but it should be kind of interesting, to have kind of a half-hour thing or 22 minutes, whatever it is, to throw on. So anyways, so those are the 2 new shows I watched in the last week or so. And then I've also been watching Deadwood. I started watching Deadwood back last year sometime, and so now I'm on season 3 towards the end of that, so hopefully be finishing that up, and probably share my thoughts when it's all over, but really enjoying it. I mean, I think it's easily one of the best TV shows of all time, and I'm definitely really loving it so far. We'll see how season 3 ends. And then what else? I did watch also a British show called Daddy Issues with David Morrissey and Amy Lou Wood. And I watched the first couple episodes of that one. It's just a 6-episode comedy series, but season 2, or as they call in Britain, the series 2, is coming up sometime this year, and so I thought it'd be kind of interesting to check it out, and I did like it. I thought the first episode was pretty good, so hopefully I'll just finish that in the next couple days, and then maybe I'll talk about that next week on this show. So anyways, that'll just about do it then for the stuff I've been watching, and then we'll get into the award show now. Okay, everything looks still to be good on all this stuff on the screens. Okay, good stuff. Okay, so that's it for the TV this week, and now let us get into the year-end television awards for 2024. So, as I said off the top, just want to briefly touch on TV in 2024. So I made my top 10 TV episodes of 2024 along with my top 5 TV shows video. So both those videos have been already posted on the channel. I put those up a couple of weeks ago now. And I kind of talked about in there. Oh, and I also did my tier list video too. I don't want to forget to mention that. I ranked every show that I watched, even just an episode from, in 2024. So that was a fun one as well. But anyways, I touched on it in those videos, but I thought this year was overall pretty disappointing, for a lot of shows, and it was the first year, and basically since I've started my channel, so we're going on 7 years now or something, that I didn't have a show like Succession or Better Call Saul, or even in recent years like The Righteous Gemstones, just shows like that have been kind of cornerstones for me within the last half decade, that have been, those top shows every year that kind of, really good performers that put out consistent seasons every time out. And I didn't really have any of those this year. The only one that was really close was What We Do in the Shadows. And I thought this season, it was one of the better seasons of Shadows, but, it wasn't the best. It certainly was not the best season of the show. So, it was just an interesting year. I thought it was pretty disappointing, but, still put together my top 5 TV shows, and I still, stand by that list. I got a lot of enjoyment out of a lot of those shows this year. But yeah, it's just, I feel like, the top 3 or so of previous years was a lot better than the top 3 this year, even though, there was still some, good shows in there for sure this year. Some surprises as well, for sure, that kind of came out of nowhere, especially this year compared to other years. So, anyways, that's just my thoughts on 2024 TV, and this will be the last time I'm talking about it, so we can move on to 2025, and I also do my most anticipated shows of 2025, and it's looking really, really good coming up, so, and even just like within the next month, I mean, even, it's February 3rd today, so we got Yellow Jackets coming up in just a couple weeks, White Lotus, and what else? Severance is still going now for a bit. So, yeah, I mean, it's about to get really, really good in the next month or so. Okay, so just in terms of the guidelines before I switch over to my nominations, and we pick some of the winners. So there's 25 categories here. It's been the same for the last few years on the channel. We have, best series. So I split everything into drama, limited, and comedy. For best series, for all of the acting awards, we have, lead, supporting, and then we have guest as well. And then what else? We have an ensemble award for the best ensemble, and then we have main title design as well at the end there. So I think the requirements are still the same as well. I had to have seen at least one episode of the TV show or the performance that I'm nominating here. So let's say I nominate this actor from a TV show. I had to have seen at least one episode that they were in, that show and acted in, right, in order to nominate it here. So obviously, there'll be lots of shows and performances that aren't on my awards list because I just haven't seen an episode of that show. Something like Shogun comes to mind from this year, where, I didn't watch Shogun, and so I can't nominate any of those performances or, nominate the show for best series or anything like that. So I think that's it. I think that's pretty much it. But those are just the requirements there for that. Okay, so let's get into the document here that I put together, and we'll just switch this over here. Okay, I think that looks good. Oh, don't want to move that. Okay, so that looks good. All right, so we'll start off here at the top, and I just put this document together, and hopefully it's easy enough to follow, but we'll go from here. Okay, so we start off with our outstanding series categories here. We'll start off with those. That's fine. So in previous years, I have had 5 nominees for each category here for outstanding series. But for this year, I'm gonna be honest. A few of these, I think it was mainly drama and limited, that if I did 5 nominees in these categories, I wasn't satisfied with that because I feel like the 5th nominee for both categories would have been very weak in terms of putting that in an outstanding series category. So I did stick to 3, which did make it very hard for the comedy series category because there was at least 5 that were very worthy here. So I did have to cut a couple out, unfortunately, but that's just what it is. Okay, so outstanding drama series then for the year. And so our nominees here are Fallout Season 1, House of the Dragon Season 2, and Sugar Season 1. This is a tough one because, I don't think I can give it to Fallout. I just don't think it was I really loved the premiere episode, and maybe we'll see that here when I get to my directing and writing categories, but I did really like the premiere episode, but I felt like it was a little uneven at times throughout the whole season here. So as a whole, I don't think I can really give it to that one. And it's really between House of the Dragon and Sugar then. And I did really like Sugar, and you know what? I did put House of the Dragon Season 2 over Sugar, my top 5 TV shows of the year video. And, certain episodes of House of the Dragon were really, really great. But you know what? I'm going to change that slightly. In terms of an outstanding series award, Yeah, I think I enjoy maybe House of the Dragon a little more with the highs of that season, but as a whole series to me, I think I am maybe going to have to give that to Sugar. So we'll start off there, maybe a little bit of a curveball, but anyways, yeah, so we'll put that one there. Oh, does that come up on there? The save? Okay. Anyways, that's fine. Okay, so we'll put a star between or beside all the winners basically as we go here. So, all right. So Sugar Season 1 takes the Outstanding Drama Series award. Now, let's go to Outstanding Limited Series. So this one's pretty easy for me. The Penguin, I actually don't think I finished all the way through the Penguin, so that's hard for me to, give it the win here. And the Regime, I thought it was good, but, it certainly had some problems. Masters of the Air was my top TV show of the year, just to spoil that other video that I did. So we'll have to stick with Masters of the Air. That's a pretty easy one for me. So Outstanding Limited Series for the year goes to Masters of the Air there for that category. All right. Yep, Masters of the Air. Okay. So Outstanding Comedy Series then. And like I said, this was really tough. There's a couple here that 100% should have been nominated, but it is what it is. I only did 3 nominees. So Outstanding Comedy Series, so we have Sweet Pea Season 1, What We Do in the Shadows Season 6, and Hacks Season 3. And to me, again, similar like the Limited Series, I think this is a pretty easy one for me. Although I really did like Sweet Pea. I think it was a little inconsistent, but I did really like it. Hacks Season 3, a really good season of Hacks, but had some ups and downs for me. But Season 6 of What We Do in the Shadows, to me, was very consistent. The highs weren't quite as high as previous seasons of Shadows, but, just so consistent all the way through. There really wasn't a single bad episode, or even just like a okay episode this season of What We Do in the Shadows. So, gonna give that the win there. So that'll do it for there. So Outstanding Comedy Series for the year goes to What We Do in the Shadows Season 6. All right. So there we go. So those are your Outstanding Series winners there for those categories. And let me just see how far this goes down. Okay, so that should be fine for now. Yeah, okay. All right. So next, let's get into our directing categories. So again, we have directing for drama, limited, and comedy, and it's per episode. So they're only getting nominated for 1 episode. I think a couple on here, I will have somebody literally getting nominated twice for the same show. Is that the case? No, I guess we have everybody set different there. Yeah, so Ryan Condal gets like 2 nominations for the writing here, for example. So anyways, it's per episode, so they could get nominated twice in these categories. Okay, so it's directing for a drama series here. We have House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 4, The Red Dragon and the Gold, directed by Alan Taylor. Constellation, Season 1, Episode 1, The Wounded Angel, directed by Michelle McLaren. Sugar, Season 1, Episode 1, Olivia, directed by Fernando Mireles. Followed, Season 1, Episode 1, The End, directed by Jonathan Nolan. Sugar, Season 1, Episode 3, Shibuya Crossing, directed by Adam Arkin. And House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 7, The Red Sewing, directed by Lonnie Perister. Okay, so those are our nominees. So 6 nominees for each of these categories. And this is a tough one. I mean, there's a few that stick out right away. It's probably going to be Fallout, the premiere episode, obviously House of the Dragon, Episode 4, and Sugar, Episode 1. Those, to me, are the top 3 here. I don't see anything else really being, up there to win. So, that's tough. That's really, really tough. You know what? I think I'm going to have to give it to Sugar. I think I'll have to give it to Sugar. It was just so unique and just so stylistic, like ultra stylistic. And once you figure out the twist, I'm not going to spoil it, but the twist of Sugar basically, and you figure that out and you really think back to the way that they direct and the way that it's so stylized throughout the run of the season here of Sugar, you're like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Like it's not just the sake of, oh, yeah, it looks cool and it's like ultra stylized. It's kind of this artful kind of approach to the series, but it also like makes sense from a storytelling perspective here of who John Sugar is and how he sees the world. and that's kind of the way you watch the show and the way that he sees the world. So, so I think I'm going to have to give it to Sugar, which is a damn tragedy because this first episode I thought was the directing here for Jonathan Nolan for Fallout was just flawless. Episode 4 was really great direction too, but spoiler alert, I might give that more of a writing nod personally. But anyways, so I think we'll give it to Sugar. I think we'll give episode 1, Olivia, the win for outstanding directing for a drama series. But yeah, like I said, really a shame that episode 1 of Fallout doesn't get it. But Sugar episode 1 was just really good. So the really great nominees though here altogether. So okay, so there we go. So Sugar episode 1, Olivia gets outstanding directing for a drama series. Okay, so outstanding directing for a limited series. We have The Penguin, Episode 1, After Hours, directed by Craig Zobel. Franklin, Episode 1, Sauce for Prayers, directed by Tim Van Patten. Masters of the Air, Episode 3, Part 3, directed by Kari Joji Fukunaga. The Regime, Episode 1, Victory Day, directed by Stephen Frears. Under the Bridge, Episode 1, Looking Glass, directed by Jita Vasant Patel. And A Man in Full, Episode 1, Saddlebags, directed by Regina King. So, unfortunately, this is like a very easy pick to me personally. It's Masters of the Air Episode 3, directed by Fukunaga here. This was just, again, my top 10 TV episodes video. This is right up there. I think I put it at number 2. It's just an amazing episode, and the direction is the star of the show, really. There actually is very little writing, and that's kind of the whole point. The whole episode is kind of showcasing this mission that they're on, flying over enemy territory. These guys are part of the 100th Bomb Group, right? That they're depicting during World War II. And it's just unbelievable what Fukunaga is able to achieve, along with the cinematography, the effects as well. Just that feeling of claustrophobic, you feel like you're trapped in that plane with these guys. And like I said before, I'm sure you couldn't possibly, replicate what that really would have felt like for those young men in that plane. But I think it maybe approaches that. Like, it maybe gives you a little hint of what that would feel like, and I think just even that is so impressive. So you got to give it to Masters of the Air Episode 3 there, Part 3 for Fukunaga, I think. But The Penguin would be a close runner-up for me for sure. I thought that first episode was really well directed. The cinematography was also really great there. And then a third one, probably Under the Bridge, to be honest, actually. I thought that one was good. Franklin was actually pretty good. It looked pretty good throughout that first episode. So anyways, so that's what it is. Master of the Air Episode 3 gets outstanding directing for a limited series there. Okay, let's move on. All right, so outstanding directing for a comedy series for the year. All right, so Hack Season 3, Episode 6, Par for the Course, directed by Paul W. Downs. What We Do in the Shadows, Season 6, Episode 8, P.I. Undercover New York, directed by Kyle Newacek. A Man on the Inside, Season 1, Episode 1, Tinker Tailor Older Spy, directed by Michael Schur. The Franchise, Season 1, Episode 1, Scene 31A, Tecto Meets I, directed by Sam Mendes. Sweet Pea, Season 1, Episode 1, Sorry for Your Loss, directed by Ella Jones. And lastly, What We Do in the Shadows, Season 6, Episode 11, The Finale, directed by Yana Gorskaya. So, Yana Gorskaya, yeah. This is a tough one. There's many that are really competitive here. What We Do in the Shadows, Episode 8, I think is right up there. Hacks, Episode 6 is right up there for sure. That Franchise episode I thought was really great. The Sweet Pea first episode, the Shadows finale was pretty good. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Sweet Pea episode personally. I just think the atmosphere that they really achieved with that episode, again, the cinematography really lending itself to that, establishing the style of that first episode as well. I don't know. I really like that, but now I'm thinking about it, like, if we look forward to the writing, maybe that's more of a writing episode, and maybe I give it the nod there. But what other episodes are here for the writing category? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit, but I do like that one. The finale of Shadows I like a lot, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to go with Sweet Pea here for directing. I just thought, it was a really great episode, and really established things. A runner-up would definitely be that Hacks episode. I thought that was a really good one as well. Shadows one was great with that and the finale, but yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Sweet Pea here. This is probably the toughest decision I've had to make yet, but we'll give it to that one. We'll give it to Sweet Pea, episode 1, Sorry for Your Loss, directed by Ella Jones there, for outstanding directing for a comedy series. All right. So, outstanding writing for a drama series. Again, this is per episode. So, Sugar, Season 1, Episode 6, Go Home, written by Donald Yo and Sam Catlin. House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 1, A Son for a Son, written by Ryan Condal. Fallout Season 1, Episode 1, The End, written by Geneva Robertson Dworet and Graham Wagner. Sugar, Season 1, Episode 1, Olivia, written by Mark Protosevich. Fallout Season 1, Episode 4, The Ghouls, written by Kieran Fitzgerald. And House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 4, The Red Dragon and the Gold, written by Ryan Condal. So he gets a couple nominations here. I tried to kind of have some diversity there and kind of, spread the love, if you will. But those 2 episodes of House of the Dragon were just phenomenal and, definitely deserving of that, of nominations there. So for directing, I did give this to Sugar, for this category. And I did say that this episode of House of the Dragon might get some love elsewhere. So I'm leaning towards that, to be honest. I do think, though, the Fallout premiere would be right there. I think that's a really close one. Season 1, Episode 6 of Sugar was really great, mainly for that kind of the end of the episode. Was just a really, really great, the way that ended. And also, there's a really great other sequence at the beginning of the episode, too, that kind of goes unnoticed. So, yeah, it's probably between Fallout and House of the Dragon here. I also really like that first episode of House of the Dragon, A Son for a Son. But yeah, I'm going to have to give it to the Red Dragon and the Gold here, I think. And this was my favorite episode of the year, or my best episode that I considered up there. So yeah, I think we're going to have to give it to that one there for outstanding writing for a drama series. House of the Dragon, Episode 4, The Red Dragon and the Gold, written by Ryan Condal. Okay, so we'll give that one the win for that. And then outstanding writing for a limited series now. Under the Bridge, Episode 1, Looking Glass, written by Quinn Shepard. The Regime, Episode 1, Victory Day, written by Will Tracy. Masters of the Air, Episode 1, Part 1, written by John Orloff. The Penguin, Episode 1, After Hours, written by Lauren LaFranc. The Regime, Episode 3, The Hero's Banquet, written by Sarah DeLapp and Julie Weiner. And The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, Episode 4, What We, written by Denai Guerrera. So, had to slide that one in. I think it's like the only nomination besides the acting that The Ones Who Live got this year for me. But I had to throw it in there. It was a really unique episode for The Walking Dead, and that was definitely deserving of a nomination here. So, really an interesting list of nominees here. Nothing really, stands out to me right away as kind of a favorite for this category. So this is an interesting one. I'm going to have to take a second to think about this one. So I thought the Under the Bridge first episode was really well written, actually. That was right up there. I did really like the first episode of The Regime. Masters of the Air was pretty good, that first episode as well. The Penguin was right up there. It was pretty good writing there. The Ones Who Live, I don't think I would give that the win. But it was a unique episode. So, you know what? I think I am going to have to give this one to The Regime for that first episode. I think that one stands out the most in this category. Yeah, I think so. I think Under the Bridge would be a runner-up, as well as The Penguin, I think. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with The Regime. I thought a lot of the satire and the comedy really landed in this first episode. And yeah, I just thought it was really impressive. So I think we're going to go with that one there for The Regime, Episode 1, Victory Day, written by Will Tracy. I think that's going to be our winner. I don't know. I am kind of more leaning now towards The Penguin, but that's tough. I really like both those episodes in terms of writing. from that perspective. But yeah, I think we're going to have to go to The Regime, Episode 1, Victory Day by Will Tracy. It also establishes a lot of great things that I loved about the series, even though towards the end of the series it kind of went off the rails a little bit. But in this first episode, I think everything is kind of consistent. There's a lot of potential there. So I think we'll go with that one there. So, okay, so it's Ready for Limited goes to The Regime, Episode 1, Will Tracy there. Okay, so outstanding writing for a comedy series. We have What We Do in the Shadows, Season 6, Episode 3, Sleep Hypnosis, written by Marika Sawyer. The Franchise, Season 1, Episode 7, Scene 113, The Bridge, written by Julie Weiner. So that's another nomination for her from 2 different shows, actually, right? Because she was nominated for, The Regime. So she actually worked on both shows this year and gets a nomination for both. Then we have Sweet Pea, Episode 1, Sorry for Your Loss, written by Kirsty Swain. Hacks, Season 3, Episode 3, The Roast of Deborah Vance, written by Joe Mandy. What We Do in the Shadows, the finale episode, written by Sam Johnson, Sarah Naftali's, and Paul Sims. And then the Franchise, Episode 1, Scene 31A, Tecna Meets Eye, written by John Brown. So this one, I think the finale of What We Do in the Shadows really stands out to me. Obviously I'm a huge Shadows fan. I just gave it the win for Outstanding Comedy Series. So I think I'm probably going to just have to give it to the finale. I thought it was a really interesting finale, actually, where they went kind of meta with some things and showed us some kind of interesting things, including like a fake sitcom ending with Nandor and Guillermo. I thought that was a really fun thing that they did and kind of slid in there. So otherwise, I think the first episode of Sweet Pea would be right up there, though I already gave it directing, so that's a little tough for me to give it both awards. The Bridge, I thought, was just a really funny episode of the franchise. Hacks, that was also a really good episode, writing-wise, but yeah, I gotta give Shadows the finale. I think we're gonna give that the win here for Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series there. So Sam Johnson, Sarah Naftali's, and Paul Sims get the win there for Outstanding Writing for a Comedy. All right. So there we go. There is all of the writing and directing categories. And now we'll go into our acting categories. So I like to split it up like this. So I have my, and let me just check the stream page here, make sure everything's still good. Yep, I think we're good. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'd like to split up this. So I go all the lead actors for all the categories at once, and I'll go all the lead actresses. So that's just the way we'll go here. Okay, and we should have some pretty easy winners here. I think some of these categories are pretty obvious to me. Okay, so outstanding, that's writing for comedy. Yeah, okay, so this is the next one. Outstanding lead actor in a drama series. We have Giancarlo Esposito for Parish, Season 1. Walton Goggins for Fallout Season 1, Colin Farrell for Sugar Season 1, Matt Smith for House of the Dragon Season 2, and Norman Reedus, we slid in there, for The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon Season 2. So, kind of threw that a bone. I did watch Daryl Dixon, so I wanted to give it something, and I think this is the only nomination that it actually got, so we throw it a bone. And I did think Norman Reedus was actually quite good. I think this was maybe his best work, maybe even in the whole universe of Walking Dead. Like, he did some interesting stuff this season in Daryl Dixon for sure. So, yeah, this is tough, man. Colin Farrell in Sugar, he is good, but again, due to the twist, the nature of that character, he's not actually doing a whole lot in terms of, he doesn't really show much range in the show. Not that it's his fault. That's just the character that he's playing. So I'm really leaning towards Walton Goggins here. Matt Smith, if his plot was just better in Season 2 of House of the Dragon, I'm sure I would be glad, to give him the win here. But really disappointing way that they treated him in Season 2 of House of the Dragon there. So I think we got to give it to Walton Goggins for Fallout. I really do. I think he was the best in this category. I think Giancarlo Esposito was good in Parish as well, but just not enough to win. To me, and Norman Reedus, not enough to win for sure, but deserving of the nomination nonetheless. So, anyways, I'd say lead actor in a drama series. We're gonna give that to Walton Goggins for Fallout Season 1. All right, next Outstanding lead actor in a limited series. So again, we have Colin Farrell for The Penguin, Matthias Schoenaerts for The Regime, Andrew Lincoln for The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, Austin Butler for Masters of the Air, Michael Douglas for Franklin, and Callum Turner for Masters of the Air. So that was a co-lead situation there for Masters of the Air in that series. Okay, so right off the bat, I think we're between probably Colin Farrell, Matthias Schoenaerts, and probably the Masters of the Air guys. And unfortunately, just kind of the nature of how a lot of these awards work, they do kind of cancel each other out. I think maybe Callum Turner is the better of the two, maybe. Austin Butler was really great, though, as well. But I think maybe Callum Turner's the better of the two. But they really do kind of cancel each other out, unfortunately, for me. So I would disqualify, them for now. And Michael Douglas is good as Franklin, too, but not enough to win. And Andrew Lincoln, good, but not enough to win. So it's really between these two then. Colin Farrell, The Penguin. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to go with Schoenaerts for The Regime. And I say unfortunately because I just think, don't get me wrong, Colin Farrell is doing an amazing job in The Penguin. You can't even barely tell that it's him in the role. But I do get little hints of kind of a Tony Soprano impression that he's doing at times with that performance. And it did kind of rub me the wrong way a little bit. Just a little bit in some of those episodes that I saw. So we're going to go with Matthias Schoenaerts for The Regime. And completely kind of overshadowed, deservedly so, I guess, by Kate Winslet. Obviously, she's a massive name. Matthias Schoenaerts, not as big of a name. But he was unbelievable in the series of The Regime, and definitely deserved as much, and to me, I would argue personally, more credit than Kate Winslet actually did in the show. I thought he was just unbelievable. So, we'll give it to him for lead actor in a limited. We'll give Matthias Schoenaerts for The Regime. Okay. So, outstanding lead actor in a comedy series, we have Ted Danson for A Man on the Inside, Season 1, Kayvon Novak for What We Do in the Shadows, Season 6, Himesh Patel for The Franchise, Season 1, Harvey Guillen for What We Do in the Shadows, Season 6, and Vince Vaughn for Bad Monkey, Season 1. So, interesting here, and I take a little bit of water to kind of think about it, and I don't know, this is a tough one. Again, we're kind of similar to the Masters of the Air conversation because Kayvon Novak and RV Guillen, they're just so attached in Shadows, so it's really tough to pick out just one of them, especially this season. Like, they were really kind of connected with their storylines for a lot of the season. I did think Kayvon Novak was really quite good. Harvey Guillen was good as well. Ted Danson is just amazing. Just literally perfect for that role in A Man on the Inside. He does such a good job. I really think this is between Himesh Patel and Vince Vaughn, though, to me. And Himesh Patel is really great in The Franchise, but there's a lot of that ensemble nature to that. And so I think I'm going to have to go with Vince Vaughn for Bad Monkey Season 1. To me, he just elevates that so much. I thought the show itself was okay. I didn't actually finish the whole first season, but I thought it was, it was good. It was good. It wasn't great. And it's kind of in that mid territory to me. And I thought he just really elevated it. He was just in his bag, if you will. He was just really, really great. A lot of great kind of Vince Vaughn isms, if you will. And so his delivery, his timing, just like really great, really great. So I think we're going to have to do that. Outstanding lead actor in a comedy series. We're going to have to go to Vince Vaughn for Bad Monkey Season 1 there for sure. Okay. So next, let me just check if this is fitting in. Oh, that's perfect with the lead actors. Okay, perfect. So, outstanding lead actors in a drama series. We have only 3 nominees here, but Emma Darcy for House of the Dragon Season 2, Noomi Rapace for Constellation Season 1, and Ella Purnell for Fallout Season 1. This is tough. It's between Emma Darcy and Ella Purnell. I have respect for Noomi Rapace, and I think she was deserving of a nomination here for sure. For Constellation, but I only watched, I think, 3 episodes of that show. So, to be fair, I really didn't even see all of her performance, but she was good. She was just good. So, I think it's between these two, for sure. Ella Ella Purnell is so good in Fallout. And Emma Darcy, I thought she was really good in House of the Dragon. Was she better in season 1, though? That's tough. I mean, maybe. Maybe she was actually better, especially like the birthing sequence and stuff in season 1. Maybe she was better in season 1. So I have to do it. I have to give it to Ella Purnell for Fallout Season 1. She's just so good. So much charm that she brings to that character. And just the show, like just the tone in general. She's just really, really great. So we're going to have to give it to her there. And, you know, I hate to look ahead, but here she also is here. And we may have to give her another win yet. But we'll have to see when we get there. Anyways, Ella Purnell for Fallout Season 1. We'll give her lead actress in a drama. Okay. Outstanding lead actress in a limited series then. So we have Riley Keough for Under the Bridge, Denai Greer for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, Kate Winslet for The Regime, and Lily Gladstone also for Under the Bridge. So to me, again, I thought Denai Greer was good, deserving a nomination, nothing too special. And unfortunately, Riley Keough, I think she's good in the show, but just the nature of her character is kind of a very reserved, very emotionless character, at least in the, I didn't finish the series of Under the Bridge, but for what I saw in the series, she's very reserved. And so it actually doesn't really show her ability, and I think she's a really great actress. So unfortunately, I would put her out of the running. So it's between Kate Winslet and Lily Gladstone, who, you know, on the complete opposite side of things in Under the Bridge, I think she shows a lot of emotion and a lot of range, and I think she's really great. But unfortunately, for her, I think I'm going to have to go with Kate Winslet for The Regime. The accent that she does, a lot of the stuff that she does, and the comedic, gags and bits, she's really great at. And then the dramatic moments where she's kind of more emotional and this. So yeah, it's Kate Winslet. I think you have to give it to her. So I was saying lead actress in a limited series is going to go to Kate Winslet for The Regime, but definitely Lily Gladstone is close there for sure. Okay, so outstanding lead actress in a comedy series is Hannah Einbinder for Hacks Season 3, Ella Purnell for Sweet Pea Season 1, and Jean Smart for Hacks Season 3. So this is a two-horse race to me. Hannah Einbinder is great. She's been great, all, seasons of Hacks so far. But I think Jean Smart, as our kind of main lead, if you will, Hannah Einbinder, I would consider a lead. It's kind of a co-lead situation there, which, by the way, at the Emmys, Hannah Einbinder, I think even this year, again, got nominated in supporting. I don't agree with that. I think she's definitely a co-lead. It's very difficult to argue that she's supporting in the show. But anyways, so yeah. Between Jean Smart and Ella Purnell, she is so great in Sweet Pea. Ella Purnell, she's just so good at that character. And Jean Smart in Hacks Season 3 is great. She does have some good moments in it for sure, but honestly, it's the year of Ella Purnell, I guess. I really, if I'm being honest, yes, I would like to kind of spread the love, and I'd like to give it to Jean Smart, to kind of change things up, but if I'm being honest with myself, like, Ella Purnell was the best performance of a lead actress in a comedy series this year to me. So I am going to have to give it to her, and she's going to get 2 wins in the same year, and both in lead performances. I don't know. I guess it's the year of Ella Purnell, like I said. So we'll have to give it to her. Outstanding lead actress in a comedy goes to Ella Purnell for Sweet Pea Season 1. Kind of crazy. I think that's the first time it's ever happened in my award shows that I've had somebody win both lead categories. Absolutely wild stuff. Okay, so let's scroll this down a little bit more. Perfect. That's all fit in. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're getting towards the end here for sure. Don't want to go too much longer with this, but anyways, okay. So outstanding supporting actor in a drama series, we have Matthew Needham for House of the Dragon Season 2, Ewan Mitchell for House of the Dragon Season 2, Moises Arias for Fallout Season 1, Dennis Boutisakaris for Sugar Season 1, Jonathan Banks for Constellation Season 1, and Eric Lang for Sugar Season 1. So, this is a very interesting category to me. I shouldn't scroll because it all fits perfect. But Matthew Needham, I really wanted to give a nomination here. I think he gets completely overlooked as Laris Strong. I think he's amazing in Season 2. He's really approaching, to me, the kind of Varys, kind of Littlefinger character that we saw in Game of Thrones. To me, he's right up there with those guys. I think he does an amazing performance in this season. Ewan Mitchell as Aemond, right? Fantastic. Much Series is great, and I really wanted to give him a nomination. I don't think he would win, though. I thought Buda Sakaris was really great in Sugar. So is Eric Lang. Jonathan Banks is great, too. So, man, that's tough. I think I'm going to probably have to give it to Ewan Mitchell for House of the Dragon Season 2 as Aemond. Some of those moments, too, where they kind of explore his sexuality a little bit and those kind of vulnerable moments, I thought he was really great in. I'm going to have to do it. I think we're going to have to give it to Ewan Mitchell for House of the Dragon Season 2. As a runner-up, I would probably say Busakaris for Sugar. Maybe Eric Lang as well will be right in there. But yeah, I would say supporting actor in drama, going to have to give it to Ewan Mitchell there for House of the Dragon Season 2. Okay, outstanding supporting actor in a limited series. We have Anthony Boyle for Masters of the Air, Henry Goodman for The Regime, Barry Keoghan for Masters of the Air, Nate Mann, Masters of the Air, Danny Webb for The Regime, and Tom Pelphrey for A Man in Full. This one's a pretty easy one, unfortunately. I'll just cut to the chase. It's Barry Keoghan for Masters of the Air. I thought this was easily one of the best performances in TV this year. And technically, actually, he really could have qualified probably for a guest actor nomination here in terms of my awards. Just the way because I don't want to spoil too much, but he's not in much of the show, Masters of the Air. He doesn't meet his demise. He's playing a real person, so it's not really spoiling much. But anyways, he does meet his demise, and he's not in the entire run of Masters of the Air, so he's not actually in that many episodes. But I do think he plays such an integral part in the episodes that he's in that he was worthy of a supporting actor nomination. And he's just unbelievable. I mean, he's so kinetic, brings so much energy to the show when he's in it. And just, he's easily one of like the best characters, or one of the best, people that you connect to and care about just immediately. Again, with that kind of charisma and that energy that he brings to the role. And just heartbreaking in the episode that he meets his demise and dies. I mean, it's just a really great moment of the show, and just I really felt it. I really did, and I can't say that for all of the performances in Masters of the Air for some of those supporting actors. So there were some really great ones. Anthony Boyle would be right up there too in this category. I thought he was really great. But yeah, I got to give that to Barry Keoghan for Masters of the Air. There for supporting actor in limited. Okay. Supporting actor in a comedy series, then. All right, so we have Matt Berry for What We Do in the Shadows Season 6, Billy Magnuson for the franchise, Richard E. Grant for the franchise, Mark Proch for What We Do in the Shadows, Darren Goldstein for the franchise, and Daniel Brohl also for the franchise. I had to put all four of those guys in here. I mean, they're all really, really great and really deserving of nominations. So yeah, I had to put all four of them in there. It seems like a little much for one show, but they're all so great in the franchise. So it is tough, though, to pick one of them out of the four. Yeah, it's just tough. You know what? Unfortunately, there's just too many of them, I think, and they are really great, but they don't really stand out enough. But who really does stand out, and that is Matt Berry for What We Do in the Shadows. I mean, he's just unbelievable for all seasons of the show. He's just been a real treat, to watch on TV. I know he's done a lot of other things. He was actually in Fallout. I think I do have another nomination for him as we go forward here for Fallout. But yeah, he's just amazing in Shadows, so I'm really looking forward to what he does next and to see him in more stuff. But yeah, he's amazing in this season of Shadows. Perhaps one of his best seasons, I would say, too. So yeah, we'll give him the award there for Matt Berry for What We Do in the Shadows for supporting actor in a comedy series. Okay, so then let's go to supporting actress, and again, we'll just make sure that this is fitting on the screen. Okay, perfect. All right. And check the stream, make sure everything's all good there. Okay, perfect. All right, sick. Okay, so then we have, Matt Berry. Yeah, okay, so this is the right thing. Okay, awesome. That's all good. Okay. Supporting actress in a drama series is the next one. So we have Paula Malcolmson for Parish Season 1, Eve Best for House of the Dragon Season 2, Amy Ryan for Sugar Season 1, Anna Gunn for Sugar Season 1, Olivia Cook for House of the Dragon Season 2, and Kirby Howell-Baptiste for Sugar Season 1. And unfortunately, we'll just cut to the chase. Olivia Cook for House of the Dragon Season 2, I think, is our clear winner. Some could even argue that she maybe is a lead in this season of House of the Dragon. Maybe you could make that argument. I think there's still enough there where she would be supporting. But certainly her and Rhaenyra, Emma Darcy's character, are at the forefront of a lot of stuff this season. So anyways, I still thought it was fitting to put her in supporting actress. And she is just, she's unbelievable in this season of House of the Dragon. Nails a lot of the more emotional moments. A lot of the kind of sneaking around, the political stuff, the gaming of things, and the power dynamics. She is, really great at kind of, going into that with the character, and So I got to give it to her for Olivia Cook there. And then in terms of the other ones, Eve Best is close as well. She was good in her few episodes that she had. Anna Gunn is really great in Sugar, actually. I really liked her in that. So, yeah, probably Anna Gunn would be the runner-up there. But, yeah, I got to give it to Olivia Cook there for House of the Dragon Season 2 in supporting actress. Okay, so then next is supporting actress in a limited series. So we have Kristen Milioti for The Penguin, Andrew Riseborough for The Regime, Chloe Guidry for Under the Bridge, Diane Lane for A Man in Full, and Martha Plimpton for The Regime. Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy one too. I got to give Kristen Milioti obviously the award there for The Penguin, I think. Just out of those nominees, I think she really stands out the most. Andrew Riseborough would probably be the runner-up. I thought she was really great in The Regime. Chloe Guidry, I think she's I think 15 or 16, so a young actor. And I think she just does a really good job in Under the Bridge, kind of playing the ringleader, if you will, of this young, I think they're supposed to be 14 in the show, of this kind of gang that they form of these young women, young teenage girls. So I thought she was just really great in that role, especially for a younger actor. And Diane Lane is pretty good in A Man in Full. Martha Plimpton, kind of a smaller role, but she's good. So yeah, I got to give it to Kristen Milioti. And it's not just because of the competition. She is also amazing in The Penguin, obviously. So yeah, really great performance there, and I got to give her award there. So I'd say supporting actress in a limited series goes to Kristen Milioti for The Penguin. Okay, so then outstanding supporting actress in a comedy series, we have Aya Cash for The Franchise Season 1, Nicole Leckie for Sleepy Season 1, Natasha Demetrio for What We Do in the Shadows Season 6, Lila Rich Creek Estrada for A Man on the Inside Season 1, Natalie Martinez for Bad Monkey Season 1, and Kristen Shaw for What We Do in the Shadows Season 6. So this one, again, wow, I didn't realize, but all of these supporting actress ones are pretty easy. Yeah, it's got to go to Natasha Demetrio for What We Do in the Shadows Season 6. She has been unbelievable for the whole run of Shadows, basically being the only female, actually, in the main cast, and she just is, you really don't need, sorry, Kristen Shaw, only in the last couple seasons, she's been a part of the main cast, so I don't really include her, but anyways, you don't really need another female in that main cast because Natasha Demetrio is just such a powerhouse with that character, and she's just so great. So, yeah, some other good ones. Nicole Leckie, I thought, was a standout in Sweet Pea, and Rich Creek Estrada was good in The Man on the Inside as well, but yeah, you got to give it to Natasha Demetrio there for What We Did in the Shadows Season 6 for supporting actress in a comedy. All right. So now we're back down to guest actor. And these ones are interesting because there are no genres. So there's no, I do this for any show, as I said, in any series. So this is drama, comedy, and limited is just in here. So I think there's like a couple things I consider. So you can't be in more than 3 episodes, I think is the number, or maybe I make an exception for 4. And you have to have a pretty small role, obviously, right? Like, again, like a Barry Keoghan thing, I think he's, I don't want to spoil too much, but he's in less than 4 episodes, I'll just say that. But he has such a big role in those episodes that I can't put him in guest. So it's, you kind of have to have a balance between those two. And in terms of comedies, a lot of these performances here they're literally just in 1 episode, and that's kind of the guest performance. So very similar to the Emmys. I try to base it off of that. So that's a guest actor in any series. We have Matt Berry, there you go, for Fallout Season 1, Hugh Grant for The Regime, Doug Jones for What We Do in the Shadows, Christopher Lloyd for Hacks Season 3, Tim Heidecker for What We Do in the Shadows, and Tony Goldwyn for Hacks Season 3. So this is a bit of a tough one. I'm not sure exactly who to go with here. A lot of good nominees here. I mean, these guest performance categories, I mean, there's like 20 that are worthy every year, and so this is always the hardest to put together to get it down to 6 nominees. So some really great nominations here. I think I'm between Doug Jones and Hugh Grant. I think Hugh Grant is just really great. He's only in 1 episode of The Regime, or maybe he's credited for 2, but he's only actually in 1 of the episodes. Spoiler alert. And he's really great. Doug Jones has a good role in Shadows, though, at the end of this, the final season here. Christopher Lloyd is really funny as well in Hacks. But, yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with Hugh Grant for The Regime here. Again, some really great nominations, or nominees here. But, yeah, I think we're going to have to give him the win. So, Outstanding Guest Actor in any series goes to Hugh Grant for The Regime. All right. So guest actress then in any series, again, same thing, just actresses now. So we have Helen Hunt for, oh yeah, right. Right, there's a ton of Hacks nominations here because they just have amazing guest performances every season in Hacks. So anyways, Helen Hunt for Hacks Season 3, Caitlin Olsen for Hacks Season 3, Christina Hendricks for Hacks Season 3, J. Smith Cameron for Hacks Season 3, and then we have Catherine Waterston for the franchise, and Shania Twain for Dr. Odyssey Season 1. So I did watch a few episodes of Dr. Odyssey, and she does make a guest performance, and I can't remember. Is she playing herself? Did she play Shania Twain, or is she playing a character? I can't remember right now, actually. That's hilarious. I think she's playing a character. I don't think she's playing Shania Twain because she, does have a romantic kind of relationship with the captain of the ship. And I don't think, he knows that she's Shania Twain. So, anyway, I think she's playing a character in that, but anyways, regardless, some good nominees here for sure. I think it's between Caitlin Olsen, though, and Christina Hendricks. Christina Hendricks is only in 1 episode, but she steals the show. I mean, she's absolutely amazing in that episode. To me, at least, I thought she was great. J. Smith Cameron actually is really good, too. Less of a comedic role and actually some more emotional stuff coming from that. So I'm going to have to go with Caitlin Olsen, though. That 1 episode, the roast of Deborah Vance, episode 3 of the season of Hacks, she's basically like a lead in the episode. She carries that episode, and it's just amazing in it. So, yeah, I think we're going to have to give it to Caitlin Olsen for Hacks Season 3, playing Deborah's daughter, DJ. She's been really great, and she's really great in this season. Maybe her best season, really, of the show. So, yeah, outstanding guest actors in any series goes to Caitlin Olsen for Hacks Season 3. All right, last 2 categories here before we finish up, and we got to drag that down a little bit more. Is that everything? Yep, okay. I have that little recap thing there, but that should work. Okay, perfect. All right. So, outstanding ensemble cast in any series. So, again, this can come from drama, limited, or comedy. And we have Masters of the Air, including Austin Butler, Callum Turner, Anthony Boyle, Barry Keoghan, Nate Mann, and Stephen Campbell-Moore. What We Do in the Shadows Season 6, including Kayvon Novak, Harvey Guillen, Matt Berry, Mark Proksch, Natasha Demetrio, and Kristen Schaal. The Franchise Season 1, including Himesh Patel, Billy Magnuson, Richard E. Grant, Darren Goldstein, Daniel Bruhl, and Aya Cash. Sugar Season 1, including Colin Farrell, Dennis Boutsikaris, Eric Lang, Amy Ryan, Anna Gunn, and Kirby Howell-Baptiste. House of the Dragon Season 2, including Matt Smith, Emma Darcy, Matthew Needham, Ewan Mitchell, Olivia Cook, and Eve Best. And lastly, The Regime, including Matthias Schoenaerts, Kate Winslet, Henry Goodman, Danny Webb, Andrew Riseborough, and Martha Plimpton. That was a lot. So, anyways, yeah. Some really great ensembles this year. Masters of the Air is a really tough one not to award. I mean, just in terms of like actual ensembles, it's probably the most complete ensemble. I mean, there's so many different performances in it that are, you know, all really great. You have the main lead guys here, but you just have a lot of secondary ones that are really great throughout. The franchise, I mean, that's hard not to nominate. All of those performances are really great as an ensemble. I thought Sugar actually was really great too. House of the Dragon, obviously. The Regime was good. Like, there's not a single, you know, weak point here, I don't think, in any of these nominees. However, it is What We Do in the Shadows final season, and I do think it is only right if we do give that the ensemble award. I don't know. I mean, the franchise is great. Like I said, I just got done saying, you know, all of these are so deserving. Honestly, I could give any of these the win, and I think that would be fine. Like, I really would be fine with any of these getting the win. But especially the franchise, like, that's the only one that makes me kind of question this at all, because that is a really good ensemble for that show. But I got to give it to Shadows. It's the final season, and I think everyone is really firing on all cylinders. I mean, you know, a weaker show, you know, you would have had some performances probably just phoning it in. Oh, it's the last season, whatever. You know, we're almost done. Let's just phone it in. But even to the very end of the finale episode, I think all of these actors, all of this ensemble, I mean, they're at the top of their game. So I'm going to have to give it to Shadows. It's the final season of Shadows. I think that has to mean something here. So I'm going to give them ensemble cast for the year. We'll give it to What We Do in the Shadows Season 6, including those names there. All right. So our last category here for the awards of 2024 is Outstanding Main Title Design. And for this award, I am talking about the credits, but also the music that goes with it. So it's just a combination of the visual credits and the song or the score that goes with it for this main title design. So the nominees are Masters of the Air, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, The Regime, Sugar Season 1, Franklin, and Sweet Pea Season 1. So unfortunately, to the other ones that are nominated on this list, it's just not even really a fair comparison. Unfortunately, it's Masters of the Air. And, I mean, the score is just amazing. I think it's Blake Neely is his name, the composer. Just an amazing job. Just phenomenal score for this opening credits. And, honestly, I think it's, like, probably the second best. You know, of the 3 series so far, and if you would have told me that, I would have called you a liar, because the Pacific and Band of Brothers both have an amazing title sequence with amazing score, and, I mean, you know, hell, this might be the best, honestly, in terms of the score for any of the show. Like, it's just unbelievable. I mean, this title credits is also like 2.5 minutes long, while all of these other ones are under a minute, so it's a bit tough to compare, but yeah, I mean, I gotta give it to Masters of the Air here. I mean, it's just unbelievable. A lot of the images that they play, the effects of stuff that they put in here of the intro, and then that score just really brings it all together. So, a couple close ones here. The Regime was definitely close. I did really enjoy the opening credits for that. Sugar, I thought, was really great too. And Sweet Pea was definitely unique. So those would probably be my picks for my runners-up, if you will. But yeah, so Masters of the Air for Outstanding Main Title Design. We'll give it to that one there. So that will do it for my awards for this year of 2024. That is the last category, right? We just had the recap there at the end. So yeah. All right, so there you go. There's all my winners for the awards for 2024, and yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun to put that one together and go over our winners here, and now we have it all done and complete, and that will just now about do it, right, for all of my coverage for TV in 2024. Now that we've done the tier list video, right, and then We did the top 5 TV shows, top 10 episodes, and so now kind of bringing everything full circle with the awards, and that's all done now. So okay, so then to end off this week's episode of Let's Talk Television, let's get into just some of the news topics that I had. I think we had 3 of them now, and we'll just switch back to this. Yep, that's all good. Okay. So 3 of them, I think, we had for the news topics, and I did link all these articles in the description of this stream, of the, or I guess it'll be a video then once it's published. So I did link all the articles there if you want to check any of these out. So I'll just kind of read briefly from the article, and then we'll kind of go from there. Just want to make sure that I got all of that. Okay, yeah. All right, so the news topics then for this week. First off, we have The Righteous Gemstones to end with Season 4 at HBO and final episodes to premiere in March. And this is from Variety, this article, and you can find the link in the description, as I said, if you want to go read it yourself. Now, I will say, this is from about a week ago now, and even since this article came out, we did get the, I'm not sure if they called it a trailer, but a teaser of the season, and we do know now the premiere date is March 9th. So this article is slightly out of date, but the biggest news about this article is that the show is ending with this season at HBO. So that's what we're dealing with here. So, from Variety here, The Righteous Gemstones will end its run at HBO with its upcoming 4th season, Variety has learned. The comedy series was renewed for Season 4 at HBO back in July of 2023, and then it says the exact premiere date is yet to be set, which it is now. It's March 9th, which is awesome, by the way. I mean, I did not think that it would be that soon. I thought it would be, in the first 6 months of the year, the first half of the year. But to hear that it's March 9th, I mean, that's like, a month? Like just a month away, a month and a few days. So really hyped, obviously, for that. So then we get a little bit of quote here. So, the Lord spoke to me and said it's time to wrap this sucker up. That's what Danny McBride said. And then, quote, the story of this season made the themes, ideas, and characters in Gemstones feel whole and complete. I have loved every second of working with this team for the past 8 years, and there are some incredible payoffs, twists, and turns in store over the course of this wild final season. So that's the quote there from Danny McBride, I guess, when they released this news. And I did see this, so I do follow, huge fan, by the way, of Gemstones, of Danny McBride, of his work on HBO and his movies as well. But yeah, huge fan of Eastbound and Down, one of my favorite shows of all time. Vice Principal's right up there, and Gemstones, I think, it's getting to the point where you could probably say that it's the best of those 3 shows, which I would have never believed after seeing Eastbound and Down, right? And Vice Principals, for that matter, too. So, huge fan of Danny McBride and the show, and so I do follow him and his production company, Rough House Pictures. I think it's Rough House Pictures. They've also been the ones behind those Halloween remakes as well in 2018. So anyways, they do a few things. Him, David Gordon Green, and Jody Hill, I think, make up the team behind Rough House Pictures. But anyways, so I've been following them on social media, and so I saw, right when this story broke that it was the final season, I was like, what? And then, of course, I went, and found this article and got a little bit, some more details there. But yeah, so the rest of the article, I think, just kind of goes on and describes what the show is. And it does say it's been much beloved by critics and audience since its debut, with the show holding an 88% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes across its 3 release seasons. It has also received 4 Emmy Award nominations, which, I mean, hardly, right? I mean, this show should be getting Best Comedy Series every single season that it's been on, and it's gotten absolutely nothing in regards to that, but the same thing, I think, went for the other Danny McBride shows. So, yeah, I mean, it's to be fair, it is more of a niche thing, I think, Danny McBride's style and his tone, because it's just so much. Like, it's comedy, it's drama, it's horror, it's action, like, maybe sci-fi even, maybe you could slide in there a little bit, that they play with some little things at times, but anyways, it's just so many genres and such a mix of all that stuff that I think it's a little hard for them, for award bodies, especially like the Emmys, to kind of put that into a box and nominate it. So anyways,
Yeah, there's 4 nominations, but I think it's just in like technical aspects. But anyways, so the big thing here is that it's ending. Season 4 will be the last of the Righteous Gemstones. So, am I shocked by this? Not really. Not really. I did think, though, that they were going to do 5 seasons. I did think that this was, we were getting near the end of the show, but I didn't think that 4 would be the end. I thought for sure they would do a 5th season. But I'm not shocked, just in general, that the show's ending. Because Danny McBride has never done. Eastbound and Down was 4 seasons. Vice Principal was just 2, right? He's never really done a long-running commitment of a show. Even in the movie space, he hasn't really done, anything like that. That's been like a long-standing like franchise or anything like that. He just has so many ideas and is so creative, I think, that, he doesn't want to be kind of pigeonholed in by a single, idea or single project or even character, right, that he's playing in all these projects. He wants to move on to something else. And so that's the most exciting part about this is, yeah, I love The Righteous Gemstones. I think it's arguably the best show that he's made. But it'll also be really cool to see what else he has up his sleeve, right? Because again, after Vice Principals, you're like, could he really outdo himself again? And he did, right? It's the same after Eastbound and Down. Could he really do this again with Vice Principals? And I mean, some could argue that he did, right? So I have no doubt that the next project that he does, and by a lot of accounts, it does sound like he is going to be doing another project with HBO after this. There's been no details about it, but just the way he's been talking about it in a couple interviews that I've seen him do, it sounds like, and I think he has an overall deal with HBO anyways, so it sounds like there'll be another one coming within the next couple years, I would think. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see what he has to, do next or what he has up his sleeve, and I have full confidence that it will be, at the very least, just as good as these other shows that he's done so far. So yeah, a little bittersweet. I do have really high hopes. I think this could easily be the best season of The Righteous Gemstones, especially with some of the stuff he says about the payoff and a lot of the twists and turns. He calls it a wild season. So yeah, I do have really high hopes for this. I think it could be really, really, really great. And I thought season 3 of Gemstones was really great. So we'll see if they can top that. But yeah, so unfortunate to see it end here. Again, slightly surprised that it's this season instead of next season. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. And I think, again, Edie Patterson came from Vice Principals, so did Walton Goggins, and I'm really hoping Steve Little makes a cameo or some sort of appearance in this season. He has to, right? He has to. Like, it's the final season of the show. He did make a cameo in Vice Principals in that finale episode. You gotta put Steve Little in this season of Gemstones. You have to do it. Of course, with Stevie, right, from Eastbound and Down. But that's the only thing I need. I need Steve Little in an episode of this show. But anyways, the point I was trying to make with that is I'm sure in his next project we will see a lot of these same names, whether or not it's Edie Patterson, but maybe it's out of Divine, or I'm sure Walton Goggins will be back in tow for this next project. So it's not like this is the last time we'll see any of these guys, and certainly I don't think it'll be the last time that we see Danny McBride. I'm also down to see an original movie from him too. I don't think he's done that lately or recently. Some people were even talking about him doing like what's his name? What's the character's name that he plays? Gemstone, but I'm forgetting the Jesse, right? Yeah, Jesse Gemstone, of doing like a movie, of him playing Jesse Gemstone as kind of a spin-off. So I'd be down for that. But anyways, anything that Dan McBride does next, I'm looking forward to it. So perfectly on board with that. We'll have to see season 4. I have high hopes for it. Really looking forward to it. March 9th, only a month and a few days away now. So I can't wait for that premiere there. And we'll have to keep our eyes out for any news that'll come up soon, hopefully, of his next project in the works there at HBO. All right. So, really interesting news there, like I said, from about a week ago. And, Gemstones ending with season 4 on HBO. So, there you go. Okay, so then our second article then out of 3 here on, and this one's on Variety as well. Again, article should be linked in the description. Okay, The White Lotus renewed for season 4 at HBO. And as I said, this one's on Variety. The link should be in the description as well if you want to check it out for yourself. So Variety says, vacation extended. The White Lotus season 4 has officially been greenlit by HBO with production eyed for 2026. Which is interesting, by the way. Like, just right off the bat, it's like, why not 2025? But anyways, I mean, obviously Mike White has to write the scripts. I think he writes every episode, right? So he has to write the scripts and everything. So, I guess that's fair. But it seems like this type of show wouldn't take that long to shoot and be in production. But anyways, that's because it's kind of the modern trend of all the TV shows nowadays, right? You got to wait minimum 2, maybe even 3 years between seasons. And at season 2, right, it was in like 2022. So it is like 3 years almost that we've waited now between the last season. So even in this show, that is definitely staying true. So it is unclear where the 4th season will take place or whether any cast members will return. But creator showrunner Mike White has already pitched ideas to Casey Boyes, the HBO Max chief, revealed in November. The early renewal comes a few weeks before the February 16th premiere of season 3, which takes the Emmy-winning ensemble dramedy to Thailand. Natasha Rothwell, who played the spa manager Belinda Lindsay in the Hawaii set season 1, is the only returning cast member this time around after Jennifer Coolidge reprised her role as Tanya McQuaid in the 2nd season. So I'm going to be honest, I didn't read through this whole article before we started. That is the first time I've heard that. I thought Jennifer Coolidge was returning, actually, for this season of The White Lotus. Interesting. It makes sense now, I guess, why we haven't seen her much in any of the teasers. But I thought I did see her. Maybe that was like season 2 footage or something like that that they had in there. So interesting. Honestly, that's the first time. Maybe I'm just ignorant on this a little bit. But that's the first time I've heard that she isn't actually returning. But they do have that, actress there, Belinda Lindsay, it sounds like, from season 1 who's coming in. So that's interesting. But yeah, I did kind of feel like Jennifer Coolidge was kind of our anchor and she would be in every season of the show. So that's interesting. Both seasons so far have followed groups of troubled vacationers who unleash their worst, most privileged impulses at the idyllic White Lotus Resort as their exploits intersect with hotel staff members. Both seasons also featured a mysterious death. Joining Rothwell in Thailand are Parker Posey, Walton Goggins, Jason Isaacs, Michelle Monaghan, Leslie Bibb, and who else do we have? Christian Friedel, Carrie Coon as well, Scott Glenn, Amy Lou Wood. Oh, wow. I didn't know that she was in this as well. Patrick Schwarzenegger. And I think that's about it there for the cast. So there's a few more names there if you want to read it, but those are the big standouts to me. And The White Lotus won 15 Emmys across its first 2 seasons, including for Outstanding Limited Series for its first season. And yeah, of course, then it moved into the drama categories there for season 2. So yeah, interesting. So that just about does it for the article there. But yeah, I thought this was interesting. Not entirely surprising, of course, that it would be renewed, but maybe somewhat surprising that it got renewed even before season 3 hit HBO and people actually were able to see it. We're talking like almost a month before it even came out. That season 4 has already been renewed and greenlit. So, yeah, interesting stuff. I think that's maybe the most interesting or intriguing part of this news. But certainly not surprising. I mean, The White Lotus has been, on the radar of the Emmys and, critic acclaim. Audiences have really attached to it, connected to it the past few years. And it was a big one. Was it 2021, I think, was the first season? And there wasn't a lot on at the time. I remember back then, it was like Mayor of Easttown was maybe just finishing, and then The White Lotus was starting up, and it was around that time, and in the summer or the spring there, and it was weak. It was a very weak field of TV shows that were, obviously because of what was going on, and White Lotus season 1 really kind of sparked a lot of interest at that time, and season 2 really came back, and to me, I would say season 2 is better. And I have to say, though, I'm not the biggest fan of the show. I've never quite got, a lot of other people calling it, a masterclass and brilliant and all this kind of stuff. I think it's good. I haven't been a huge fan, but I do think season 2 is probably better than season 1. I'm always intrigued by the cast they get. this season, as I read some of those names, I'm like, damn, right? Like Walton Goggins, Leslie Bibb, Carrie Coon, Michelle Monaghan, like just some really great names in TV over the past, decade, maybe 2 decades, right? Leslie Bibb, obviously from a lot of comedies in the 2000s. And who else do we have? Amy Lou Wood, who's really great. Jason Isaacs, who's a really great actor as well. So yeah, just a really great cast for the season. They're going to Thailand for season 3, so high hopes for that one. Unfortunately, no details yet for season 4. But I'm sure it'll be very interesting. I'm sure Mike White will cook up something new. So anyways, some interesting news there. Season 4 of The White Lotus has been renewed. But first, let's focus on the first season that we have at our hands here. And that is season 3. And it comes out Sunday, February 16th on HBO. Is going to fill that Sunday primetime slot there for the first bit of the year here for sure. So anyways, looking forward to The White Lotus season 3. All right, so that'll just about do it then for our second news topic. And lastly, to end things off here on Let's Talk Television, we have one last article. And this one I'm just going to kind of go through a little quicker. And this is from Deadline. Is Sarah Goldberg to star in AMC's Silicon Valley drama series from Jonathan Glatzer. So Sarah Goldberg, a big name. Obviously, I know her first from Barry, and she's just really great. So this article just stood out to me, and I did want to cover it here because I do have a feeling that this show could be really special once it comes out, and hopefully it'll be later this year if everything goes according to plan. So Sarah Goldberg is set as a lead in AMC's untitled Jonathan Glatzer's Silicon Valley series. The drama produced by AMC is set inside the bubble of Silicon Valley amid misguided corporate cultures, moony innovation labs, and cutthroat private high schools. It is centered around a rift between a self-appointed inventor of the future, tech CEO, and his self-serving performance psychologist who are engulfed in a scandal sparked by the exploitation of personal data. And Goldberg will play this psychologist, right? This like therapist, basically, to this tech guy at the Silicon Valley firm. So a really interesting role for her for sure. I think that's just, it sounds cool. And I don't think they have casted the guy who's going to play the head of the firm yet. And so that's going to be an interesting name. Especially for the tone of the show, right? Because Sarah Goldberg is kind of more from the comedy side of things. I saw her show Sisters. I think they mentioned that in an article as well. And I thought it was pretty good. She co-wrote that with Susan Stanley, I believe, right? They do say that here. They do say that here somewhere in this article. They do say that, Susan, as well as, I think it was Susan Stanley. Maybe they don't say that here. But anyways, she co-wrote it and created that show, and I thought it was actually pretty good. So she's more of a comedic actor, so I'm wondering who they're going to get to play this other role, who sounds like actually will probably be the lead of the show, and Sarah Goldberg will kind of be the supporting or maybe co-lead in this. But anyways, I really like the concept. I really like Sarah Goldberg. And another thing that caught my eye is Jonathan Glatzer. He's wrote some really great episodes for Better Call Saul and Succession. Anyone who writes episodes for both those shows, or multiple episodes for both those shows, deserves my attention, I think. And so, yeah, he's going to create this show and develop it. And it's on AMC. I think that's really promising. And it's about Silicon Valley. I mean, there's been a lot of great shows. Look no further, even on AMC, Halt and Catch Fire, about Silicon Valley. So, I really do think there's some potential for this. I just wanted to cover it because I think there's a chance that this eventually becomes a pretty big show and is pretty good. I thought it was interesting on Deadline. But, cool to see what Sarah Goldberg does next as well after her show Sisters, like I mentioned. This is kind of her next project. So looking forward to this. And like I said, hopefully this will be this year. I mean, if we're already getting casting news about this, maybe they'll go into production in the next month or so or next couple months. And maybe we might get it towards the end of the year in 2025. And that would be really cool because it sounds like a really good show. And I'm looking forward to it. So anyways, that'll just about do it then for our news topics there. We got 3 of them there for this week. Usually I only do 2, but I thought I'd throw that last one in there. So anyways, after all of that, I think that is all I have to say and all I have to cover here. for this episode of Let's Talk Television. I think it's the longest one I've ever done, but we did go through those awards, and that was a lot of fun. So, anyways, yeah, I think that'll do it for the live stream here of Let's Talk Television. Yeah, that's all. We did the awards. We went through that. We went through all the news topics and everything else. So, yeah, I think that'll just about do it, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this live. And, we had a few people that stopped by, so really appreciate that. Yeah, that'll just about do it. I probably, like I said off the top, trying to do weekly episodes, but most likely probably a bi-weekly or every other week type of deal. I do have some topics though that I want to talk about, so maybe if we have enough news, I'll be back next week on probably Monday or Tuesday. Hopefully we'll do this, and we'll get back into the swing of things here with Let's Talk Television. So anyways, that'll just about do it for this one. So like I said, hopefully we'll see you next week, but we'll see you soon. Either way, whether we do an episode next week anyways. And I am going to put together some videos on the channel as well to upload in the next few days. So hopefully we'll have some more reviews and that kind of thing and get back into the swing of things here for 2025. Anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you then in the next episode. Thanks.